Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to Shorty September 2024. Final day of Shorty September 2024. This is a BookTube event all about really short books, either in your collection already or at the library or at your charity shop or whatnot. Really tiny books. The upper limit for Shorty September is, I think, 250 pages, 200 pages, thereabout. It's the opposite of March of the Mammoths. It's the really short books. And for September, myself, I have been concentrating on two things to the best of my ability, some exceptions. One is only rereads. So only stuff from my shelf already. I'm not going looking for Shorty September stuff. And two is very short stuff. Not 200 pages. If I can help it, not even 150 pages. Really, really tiny things. And I wanted to finish up Shorty September this time around with the shortest book in my collection. It was printed in 1925. It's this. It's Advice to a Young Reviewer by Edward Copleston. This was given to me by one of the Weisenheimers at the Brattle Bookshop, who shall remain nameless, as an in-joke. That, you know, if I'm going to do this reviewing thing, maybe I should read up on how to do it right. The irony here, I'm sure that was intentional because the Weisenheimer who gave me this book knows all about antique books. The irony here is that this book, which is 20 pages long, is not advice to a young reviewer. It's satire. It's the opposite. It's what a young reviewer shouldn't do, shouldn't be, shouldn't try. And it works really, really well. It was obviously written in white heat, I think. Copleston was an English divine, an archbishop, who was born in 1776. So this was written a long time ago. And grew up, became a man of the church, but also a convincing man of letters. I don't know how much of his stuff is around. I don't know how much he's represented in a place like Project Gutenberg. There are no popular editions of his work, as far as I know, any work. So you don't see anything by this guy. Maybe you would see it up in the third floor of the Brattle, the rare stuff, but I never see him anywhere. This was picked out of the pile specifically for me. And this is just one little squib that he wrote at a time, the time of the Edinburgh Review and the Quarterly Review, when your little squib was 30 pages. He was incensed with the power and the pomposity of the book reviews of his age, the big serious book reviews, the things like the Edinburgh Review, where a reviewer would do a long job on a book, and oftentimes those jobs were what we call in the business hatchet jobs, meant to destroy the work, tear it to pieces, and bury the author forever. And in certain rarefied circles, they had that ability. They were not the reviews that most bookish people read. Reviews like that did exist, but those weren't the ones. But they were the higher, tonier things. And Copleston had a deep hatred for how stupid they were, for how biddable they were, for how compromised they were. And the front half of this, the first 10 pages of this, are him just dispensing maxims in a deep, sarcastic tone about how to exceed in writing that kind of book review. Always write what sells. Always follow the public taste. Never try to set the public taste. Always concentrate on shortcuts, so that you don't need to cut the pages of the book so that you can resell the book. Because in the time, books came with uncut pages. I believe I have an example for you here. Yes. At the beginning of this book, you will see that page is uncut. It's folded along this fold. And when you were a book collector, you had a little knife that you'd use to cut the pages of your book. And whole fashions involve different brands for those knives. And there were different fashions as to how to do it. Some readers cut their pages as they went along, using it as a kind of informal bookmark. Others religiously and cleanly cut the pages of every book they bought under the assumption that they would read it someday. And book reviewers, famously, it was satirized in both George Gissing and Charles Dickens and Anthony Trollope, book reviewers who, at the time, seldom got paid. What they would do to remunerate their efforts just a little is sell the book they would get a parcel of books in the mail to consider for review or to review. If you were lucky enough, you would be on the editor's docket, and he would just say, "I want you to review this next thing," and you would either get a pittance of money or you would just get the book, your byline and the book, or maybe not even your byline. Plenty of journals opted for the group editorial "we," so the reviewer didn't sign his name. And if the only kind of remuneration that you're getting is the book, well, you're going to be able to sell it to your local book dealer for much more money if the pages aren't cut, if it seems new, which is really difficult to preserve if you're trying to review the thing. And Copleston here makes fun of all that. That's why God made the preface. Because if you study the preface, that's usually enough to review the book. Or just as others satirized it in other novels at the time, just read the pages that you can see and skip the ones that are in the folds of the cuts, and you'll still do just fine. And once he's done dispensing all of this witheringly satirical advice, Copleston then gives an example of what he's doing, and it's really good. It is superbly well done. He takes his fake, shallow, pandering, pompous, critical stalking horse and has that stalking horse review something by John Milton. And you know already that Milton is great, and that's the whole point, is that this is the kind of condescending derivative drizzle that a reviewer would drip all over John Milton if he were alive today, of this kind of reviewer. It works really well. Once you're into the spirit of the thing, and it doesn't take long, it's only 20 pages long. Once you're into the spirit of the thing, that Milton review really will make you chuckle. And it could be done today. Of course, it has been done today. I thought this was hilarious. I love it. It's a very old book, and it's not holding up well in my possession, as old books tend not to do. I'm just assuming that the good folks at the Brattle knew that when they gave it to me. I'm assuming that they know better than anybody the shape of my books. But I am trying to be careful with this thing. I will never see another copy, and I would like to preserve it. It does give me pleasure, as these tiny books do, right? Whether it's advice to a young book reviewer, or the Guinea Pig Pride and Prejudice, which is also 10 pages long. Whatever it is, these short books can give so much pleasure. That was the fun for me of Shorty September. I had a blast just going over the shelves and finding these things wedged in between two different translations of The Tale of Genji or something like that. All these tiny little things that very much wanted a little more attention. So that was wonderful, and I want to thank all of you, all the creators of Shorty September, for creating it, and also all of you who've been commenting in my emails or who've been reading short things yourself. Some of you organize your reading in different ways than I do. I always find that fascinating. Nothing wrong with that. Some of you are very goal-oriented in the way you organize your reading, month by month and year by year. You look for totals. I only care about totals at the end of the year, and I know already that my totals for 2024 are going to be quite healthy, but they're freakish, so they don't really count. People who are snatching reading time from jobs and classes and loved ones and exercise and hygiene and pants, it's a much more of a significant accomplishment for you to tally up how much you've read in the course of a given month. For instance, where at the end of the month, people are naturally tallying up. And Shorty September helps with that, undeniably, right? If you're adding 5 60-page books, that helps with your numbers. I've been hearing a lot about that with people, and most of you who've been emailing me on that subject have been showing me, a couple of you have shown me spreadsheets, a couple of you have shown me how the month's reading is going in stacks of physical books posed next to a dog, in 2 cases cats. And all of you, because we have achieved this kind of friendship here, all of you who have done that have said, I know that, first of all, I know you read a lot more than this, and also I know that you don't really concentrate on this in the way that I do, but I do, and I thought you'd find it interesting. Or, as a couple of you put it, I do concentrate on it that way, and I know you'd find it interesting. That's absolutely true. I do. I'm fascinated by it. So Shorty September was an experience for me. It was really a lot of fun. So I'm going to miss it, but we're wrapping it up today. Today is the last day of Shorty September, so let me know how it went for you if you indulge in it. And maybe we'll reconvene with more short books next month, or not next month, next year. Oh, God help us. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up for now, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.